This is the third in a series of fairly open interviews with Sifu Louison, practitioner of Wing Chun, namely Wing Chun art, over the last 40 years. Sifu Louison has had the benefit of being taught by some of the greatest practitioners of Wing Chun in the past, Wong Shan Long, Sifu Louison Hung, to name a few. And Wing Chun art style is practically Sifu Louison's interpretation of Wing Chun. So this is a fairly open interview, and unlike the last two, Sifu Louison has not had the opportunity to witness or see any of these questions. The second thing I would say is that a lot of these questions are from practitioners, and they're questions that people would directly like to ask you for your interpretation, your opinion, your understanding. So I should add that Sifu Louison has not seen any of these questions. Sifu Louison is not saying that this is how Wing Chun is, or these are specific answers, but this is merely Sifu Louison's opinion. I'd say a lot of people would have questions and would have different opinions. And if you do, at the end of this email, there will be a contact details, name, number. Please do get in contact with Sifu Louison. I'd be more than happy to answer any question that you may have. Okay, so without further ado, welcome Sifu Louison.
Thanks again for the interview. And yes, I'll answer the question to the best of my abilities from my experience, where I've practiced Wing Chun for over 40 years. And see how it all goes, take it from there.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to first start to focus, let you down easy, first start to focus on the fact that you've been away. Nicer parts of the world, COVID-free, cost of living free, Caribbean. Where you've been training, well, you haven't been training, you've been away for family reasons, personal reasons.
Yes.
But where you've been, there have been no Wing Chun schools, no one of your level, no one really teaching, no one really learning. So how do you train for the last 6 months? How do you maintain your standing level while you're away by yourself?
Well, if you're away by yourself, and don't forget I've got experience of Wing Chun for over 40 years. So at that time, learning Wing Chun at that time, you had learned to adapt to train by yourself, yes, or you learned to adapt to train with a dummy, or you learned to adapt to train with a partner. But like you said, I've been away, I have no partners, I haven't got my dummy at home to practice with, but the best one is the partner. But no partner now, for that time, I know how to practice by myself, and that's it really. So when you know how to practice by yourself, and understand what you're practicing, it's much easier.
Is that a product of getting to a certain level? So after 40 years, I mean, your experience means you know it's set.
In fact, it's set from the beginning. You know, if I teach anybody in the past, in my students, I teach them to practice by themselves, with a dummy and with a partner. So it's something. So therefore, if they're busy at work or something happens in their lifestyle, life changes and can't get to the school, at least they know how to practice by themselves. But that also takes time. You can't just practice just like that in 1 week or 2 months. I've been practicing, like I said, for 40 years. So I've got a deeper understanding of how to practice by myself. I know what I'm doing all the time.
I mean, one of the things you emphasise when we're training in class is that, you know, the benefit of hands, you really need hands. So how do you train without hands then?
Like I said before, because also for the very long time, I had hands all the time. So if you haven't had hands, example, say you've done 10 years, and you played for 10 years, and you had hands all the time, and you've gone away for 6 months. 6 months is nothing.
Should make no difference.
No, because the technique that's embedded into your body and into your mind. You know, so 6 months.
It's set. Okay.
It's set. But if I just done martial art for 6 months, yeah, and I stopped, then I didn't practice martial art I stopped martial art for 2 years. There's no capacity. I can't overcome the 6 months because it's too long doing nothing for 2 years. Because the gap is too big. So therefore, you lose a lot of things.
So someone nowhere near as experienced as you, someone who's been studying Wing Chun for a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years, you know, they may know the forms. Can they train that way for that period of time, that gap, and maintain?
If the person has taught me how to train that way.
That's the key.
That's the key, yes. When people say train, you've got future senses show you something how to train. Anybody can train, but we ask you, how do you train? Which is very important. So if there's a structure how to train, you can carry on by yourself.
That's a good point. It's a very good point because it's emphasising that you can go to a school to be taught Wing Chun, but are they teaching you actually how to train?
That's true. That's
point.
correct.
It's an interesting point.
Yes.
Okay, so can you really learn without a Sifu? I mean, your class, your students for the last 6 months have been diligent, practicing very hard, practicing the way that you've taught them to train.
Yes.
But other people who may not have been taught how to train, can you really learn without a Sifu?
Well, the idea of a structure of a class, if you leave a class and I've gone away and I've got students who've done with me for 10 or 20 years, they can help their juniors because they've also got good structure. But if you have a class, a very young class, and everyone only learns like 2 years, 3 years, no, it won't be strong development at all because there's no one above them who has got the experience to teach them something.
So it kind of conflicts with the model of the Sifu, old-fashioned Sifu, having one person who really can perform, the rest of the people just in a class, a line of 100, just punching.
That's true. Yeah, that's could be that. You can look at that way because the person might have one student, okay, and the other 20 students are not doing nothing at all. So it's a bit stupid really because if the one student stops, you've got 20 students and you didn't show nothing at all. So we try to, the way I will try to teach all the students so they all can benefit from the practicing with each other. You know, and also when they do practice each other, they're in harmony with each other, they're practicing. You know, they're not fighting each other, they're practicing. So sometimes when people say they're going to practice, we say, same again, we watch how you practice. You know, but we see you're fighting, we say that's not practicing, that's fighting. Yeah.
I think the thing I take away from that is that you go to school to learn Wing Chun, but largely what a lot of people should get from this is how you train.
Yes.
And how you continue to train and want to continue to
very important
yourself, not just with the Sifu.
Yes.
Okay.
But very important, the teacher's got to show you how to train. You can't just get just like that and say, I'm going to do this and do that. You might not know what you're doing. So the teacher will show you, guide you and say, this is the best way to do this first, this is the best way to do that afterwards, and so forth.
I think that's going to open up a lot of questions because a lot of people will be attending their schools and once or twice a week and be doing their form to start with and doing drills and techniques and feeding or play. But they will probably say, well, what do you mean how to train? So all I would say to people, this is not a complete exposure of how you should train, but if you've got questions, by all means, contact Sifu Louison afterwards.
But also, when you ask me the question, how do you train? This is how we're doing a verbal talking right now. I'm not showing you no action how to train. I'm just telling you, find out how you train, or your teacher will tell you how to train to your best ability, the way he does it. Okay? So when we talk and discussion at something, it's verbally. It's not like you see the picture in front of you, or I'm doing performing something. I'm just showing you, telling you, best way how to train. Now you ask me how to train, I have to show you how to train. You know?
Understand. Okay. So the next set of questions are, I've loosely grouped them into questions around skill, and it's what practitioners have asked about their personal reflections and tapping into your brain as to what you think in answer to these questions.
Okay.
So the first question, which is quite interesting, is back to training under Sifu. You may have been in for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You may go in on a first week and do different drills and believe, wow, this stuff really works. The Sifu really motivates you, really inspires you, allows you to perform. Next week, you go, the Sifu will knock 5 bells out of you, get through like a knife through butter, and you feel, wow, this is a complete waste of time. You may feel like that on year 1, day 1, you may feel like that on year 5. How do you know when you're really improving? This is from the practitioner's point of view.
From a practitioner's point of view, the teacher will teach you something to encourage you to improve, to encourage you to practice, and also show you that you can do the technique. Okay? Then suddenly, it might change, it might counter you, and you can't do nothing at all. Different levels again. Different levels of practicing. You know, and you just ask the question, how does the person know that he's improving?
Yeah, personally.
Yes. Now he will be improving by being consistent in his practice, and he will find that the situation will change and get stronger and stronger and stronger. Ask this question: if you train for the first week of martial arts, don't care what you're practicing, and you learn something, and then the next 6 months you're going to be completely different. Yes. Because you have got more information, more techniques, and therefore you have improved. So you can see that.
Okay, so it takes us into duration, time. You know, some schools will say in the first 2 years you'll get this belt, in these 2 years you'll get this belt. Or another school will say in these 2 years you'll learn this form, and another 2 years you'll learn this form. Is there any real measurement of how you improve and how fast you should learn? For the practitioner?
For the practitioner, if I give you a test, and I'll test your form, and your form is performed very nicely and correctly, yeah, that's by form, but not by action of the form.
By performance.
By performance.
Okay.
Okay. So many people in the West, they will do this by belts, by certificates, by grading and things like that. I'll do completely different. I'll do your grading by your ability, what you can do. So if I teach you a technique and you can do it with ease, I'll teach you another technique, another path to attack or counter attack.
Just continuous training,
continuous training. Yes.
No belts and no badges.
No belts and badges, I'll do.
Well, then ask the question is, anything in life that you learn, for example, you do an academic course, a degree or A-levels, you've got intermediate tests, you've got intermediate projects to assess and make sure the knowledge is going in.
Yeah.
You learn an apprenticeship to work on a car or be a paint and decorator. You'll be regularly tested on the techniques and things that you learn.
Yes.
Other systems will give you certificates for each stage of achievement. In Wing Chun art, there's nothing of that. There's just
no. The old way, the old way, there's nothing like that. The new way now, people implemented the Western mentality, introducing certificates and grading and belts and things like that, just to encourage the people to learn something and give them an incentive. They got something, they gain something by a certificate. Yeah. The old ways is that no, there was nothing like that before. It's just like you practice, you learn, and you practice by, and the teacher will test you by your ability, like by sparring for you or sparring someone else and see can you do it or not. That's the old way. But you also, like I said before, there's the Western way now by certificate. I practice mostly the old way. Okay, so you come to me, I can give you a certificate, you want one, yeah, but at the same time I'm going to test you before I give you a certificate. Not just like that.
So you know the certificate is useless unless you can actually perform.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the only way I will give a certificate. Or you want to represent me, my teachers, my students might want to represent me, they might see the certificate, so therefore I'll give them a certificate.
So is that true to say the emphasis in Wing Chun art, in your way of teaching Wing Chun, is actually being able to do it, perform, play, use your techniques?
Yes, that's the most important thing, to implement the art form completely.
And without demonstration?
That's it.
Okay.
Yes. Demonstrations is showing you that what you can do. You know. So if you want to sell a product or sell something, you've got to demonstrate something what you can do. You know. And so therefore when you teach people, or people come to the school, they might see the guys practicing, and they might look at this demonstration, yes? But the guys looking, they're not looking at demonstration, they're looking at this practicing, you know? But if you're going to go to do a show, and you're going to demonstrate some martial arts, you're going to talk about it, you're going to demonstrate now what you can do, what you can't do in that situation. And that's what it is really. But the bottom line is that, the way I teach, to see can you bring the technique with ease, with any sort of arm, any sort of person. You know?
Excellent.
That's the most important thing.
Okay. Anyone who attends your course may realise that in one lesson they may be doing 1,000 drills or 100 drills. Another lesson they could be standing in a circle for 2 hours listening and taking on information.
Yes.
You've emphasised that knowledge and understanding is just as important as the skills and training and techniques. But if I link that to how you learn Wing Chun, I'd say you was fortunate enough to learn from some of the greats, some of the truly great practitioners, Long Shen Long and Sifu Louison. And from there you was able to come back from spending time in Hong Kong and figure it out because you had the feeling. So today, can we really figure it out? Can students really figure it out themselves?
Okay, sometimes people are gifted, you know, and you can do certain things in life, and Allah might give you a gift to do this and do that. Depends on, you know, on you. You might go to sleep, wake up in the morning and have a good idea. And the idea turns to a product and you make money from it. You might go to sleep and have a poor idea and you don't get nothing from it at all.
Understand.
So when you start to learn something to someone, you have to go to the teacher to learn something. Okay? And if he's got a good product and good understanding, you can benefit from it. So the theory is a theory. A theory is just a question mark. Doesn't mean stand. But practical is not a question mark.
It's all about practical.
It's practical because it's said and it's done. Okay? So when you train, yeah, when we test you to show you so you can see you can do it, Yeah? And then you feel that you can do it. So it obviously becomes stamped in your own personal self. Yeah? Now, stages of learning. You might learn a little bit first, and then learn something afterwards, and then something afterwards. Some people want to learn everything in one go. It's impossible to learn everything in one go. If I've done Wing Chun for 40 years, how can you learn my 40 years in 1 year? It's impossible.
Maybe training you 7 days a week?
Still impossible.
Still impossible.
Still impossible. You know, because the time, the experience, the understanding, and the practicing at the same time.
It's very individual.
Yes.
Okay. So the person who asked that question, helping to emulate your experience, your journey, it basically sums up and says, no, you need to go on that journey for yourself, and when it reveals itself, when it becomes a feeling for you, you'll be able to figure it out.
That is true, but your journey is journey by experience. Now, you go on a journey with experience. You go on a journey, do you prepare yourself to go on a journey? Yes. You don't just go on a journey just like that. When you got to learn martial arts, you go to learn the martial art from a teacher, hoping that he's going to look after you and show you the right way.
As long as you're being trained properly.
As long as you're being trained properly.
How to train.
How to train.
Okay. Someone's then asked, they're inspired to come and learn, and am I too old? Is it getting too late for me to learn Wing Chun? 55 years old. Can you ever be too old to learn Wing Chun?
Not really. Wing Chun is not a style that you have to be physically strong. But you have to be mentally aware and how to study. So it's a lot of thinking, a lot of calculations, and knowing your body, what your body can do and what your body can't do. So when you get, if you come to my class, there's not going to be no like running, no press ups, nothing like keep fit sort of structure at all. It's mostly technical practicing. Yeah, and technical practice by fighting is also will make you tired, because you've got to fight and you've got to think at the same time.
So let's deal with this argument of Wing Chun being founded by a woman. If Wing Chun is not a strength or age-related frame, and it's more about techniques and being able to do it at your speed, can women be better than men? Are women better than men?
Women can be better than men in certain things. It depends what it is.
Wing Chun.
Now, if you look at Wing Chun, example, the historians say that Wing Chun was invented by a nun, then passed on to a woman. Then you must understand that she passed on to her husband. So think about it. If a husband took her style, she must be giving her husband a hard time in fighting.
That's correct.
If he beat his wife, why would he learn her style for? You understand now? You see? Because obviously, if he tried to fight his wife and she overpowered him in technique and things like that, he's going to learn it from her. Okay? And then you've got another scenario. He might be stronger than her in fighting, but she's not strong in him in physically. She's more technical. So therefore, Wing Chun will have two of them, strength and technical.
So really the story of Wing Chun, whether or not it's true, is unimportant. It's really telling you something about your character.
Yes.
It's skill, technique. It's about you.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you look at Wing Chun, the history of Wing Chun, nothing's written down in Wing Chun is correct or wrong. Just people, historians can say this and say that. So it's not like strong evidence. But you look at it, just look at it, a woman and a man, and they fight each other. And the man loses. Straight away, so why did the man lose? Why he lost against this woman? So she must have some special technical stuff to overpower him. Because she can't beat my strength, but she beat my techniques.
So let me flip the question then. You've got two people, one small, highly technical, highly proficient, can perform. You've got one large, powerful, muscly, strong, similar levels of performance, technical knowledge.
Yes.
They're both very equal in terms of their ability to perform and knowledge and techniques.
Yes.
Can a small person, should a small person ever win?
The small person can win. It depends. Now you go to how quickly the techniques can go into your mind and then into your body. How quickly you can think.
How quickly you can react.
And react to certain movements. And you've got good sensitivity. You're not scared. You trust what you know. It all changes again. Okay, like example, game of chess, speed chess, and you play by the clock. Not anybody can play that game. You might play normal chess game, You know, you take your time and you sit down and
So
but by the clock, it's quickly what observing, thinking, and reacting. So
Good point.
so if you got a martial art person and they're all on the same level, same teaching, all good, one's stronger, one's weak, or whatever. How you overpower the situation, who can think the fastest?
So you personally, focusing on you, does your performance differ on different days? If you wake up tired one day, is it a low level performance? If you wake up mentally tired or upset, is it, do you perform? If you wake up very enthusiastic and energetic, does your class get held? Does your performance vary, or is it just consistent?
The class might be consistent. You know, only way you will change if you've got some illness, sick, cold, or something like that, then you don't have the incentive to train and practice, something like that. Or something happens to your life mentally, someone passed away, anything like that, you won't be that same way functioning to train, because that is mentally. But you've got no mental issues, no physical issues, you'll be okay, you practice consistently the same way.
Okay. Another question for you, which you have not seen this question. Let's deal with the Bruce Lee argument.
Okay.
But not in the context of is Jeet Kune Do better than Wing Chun? Let's leave all of that for, there's numerous and multiple videos and books about Bruce Lee. My question is quite succinct. And I thought the person who asked me this question, it was a very interesting question. What they said was Bruce Lee combined fencing, boxing, Tai Chi, and what he knew of Wing Chun into a martial art called Jeet Kune Do. So it's not a discussion as to whether or how effective that was. It's basically saying that it evolved. He took it and changed it. Now Wing Chun is set for 200, 300, 400 years. Human beings have become faster, quicker, and more powerful. If you fought a boxer, Joe Louis, say, you wouldn't be able to compete with boxers like Ali later on or Tyson, because human beings are faster, quicker, more adaptable. So can Wing Chun, two questions, can Wing Chun be improved by adding something else to it? And how has Wing Chun evolved over the last couple of hundred years as we've evolved?
Okay. This question is, listen carefully. Something's been there for 400 years, okay? And it hasn't changed. That means nothing to do added onto it at all. Only different is now, the circumstances will change, and you might need that technique to do that situation right now. But at that time, you didn't need that technique to do the situation that right now.
It's complete as a matter of tools, so it doesn't need to change.
No, because the situation only change. It depends what comes in front of you. Now, nothing comes in front of you at all, it stays the same. But if someone comes in front of you, you use what you need to do that situation. Okay? So with Bruce Lee, he taught many things and put together and used it to his benefit, to his advantage. And it worked sometimes, and some don't work. But don't forget, a person is gathering information, okay, to his best ability to perform something. Now, if I learned from a teacher for 20 years, okay, and he covered everything, okay, and then I will go and play with someone, and I use what is necessary. Doesn't mean what I've got doesn't work or not. You only use what is necessary, and that's it. Example: you're a boxer, and I'm a martial artist. I learned to use my elbows, my fingers, my knees, my feet, sweeping, everything like that. But to be fair, I can't use my elbows, and I can't use my fingers. Taking away certain things, and I can't use my legs. So you have took away a lot of my stuff, what I need to use to overpower you. Yes? So I use what I need to use to fight with you, because you're a boxer, therefore, boxer, you got hands. I also got hands. Yes? But I can't use my legs now. Now, if I go to another style now, and you say to kickboxing, and you can incorporate your legs, now I can use my legs now from Wing Chun now, because it's fair now, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. So, in a sense, I mean, the way they taught boxing, for example, or a boxer to fight, speed of punching, direction, where he punches out, has changed a lot. But Wing Chun, the way they teach you to punch is the way they teach you to punch. The way you use it depends on the situation, so it doesn't need to change.
Well, you must understand the question. You must understand that how many ways to punch is. There's many ways to punch. You might tell me a straight punch, I might play you a diagonal punch, or or 9-degree punch.
So the techniques or Wing Chun is completely covers everything. It's whether or not you understand or not.
That's it, really.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you can't say Wing Chun hasn't got that. You're telling me Wing Chun hasn't got this. And I said, do you practice Wing Chun? You said no. So how can you tell me about something that you don't know nothing about? Yeah. So I wouldn't tell you something about your style what I don't know nothing about. I'll ask you a question, have you got this or have you got that? And you will answer me, tell me yes or no. And then you will ask me, have I got that? And I said, yes, I have got this and I've got that. But you might not have seen it. You know, don't forget, Wing Chun's got 6 forms. You know, the dummy, the knife, and the pole. And the empty hand, the 3 empty hand forms. So if you ever just learned the sit and towel form, the first form, and then I'm telling you about something on the second and third form, you won't be able to understand what I'm talking about. Because your level is at that level. But you meet someone who knows all the 3 forms, you can understand, he knows where you're coming from. Okay? Now when you find this different style now, it's completely different again. I don't know your style very well, and you don't know my style very well. But therefore we exchange ideas and spar with each other. And then you say, oh whoa, I didn't know you can do that. I didn't know you can do that. Do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do.
You understand?
So the form, the structure of Wing Chun is complete, but it's how you use it.
Yes, how you use it. Yes,
excellent. Okay. Quick 5 questions. So you don't have a lot of opportunity to give long answers or to really think them through. Okay? Ready for these quick 5 questions?
Go ahead.
Okay. How do you deal with a lack of confidence?
Lack of confidence, you only get confidence by knowing something very well, and repetition of what you're doing all the time. Yes? So before you got to understand it, play with it, yeah, and then you get confidence.
Conversely, can you really teach someone to be aggressive where their first nature is to be very gentle?
Yes. You can teach someone to be aggressive, and you can also turn someone to be passive. Yeah? So therefore, you might come from a background, you're an office person, really down to earth, no aggression in you at all, and you want to learn martial arts. You have to teach some aggression to overcome aggression.
But you can't teach courage, or can you?
You can also teach courage.
Oh, how do you teach courage?
You can teach courage many different ways. We teach you that, we give you the arm slowly, so, throw the arm slowly to you bit by bit, you get used to it. And after you get used to it, you become more courageous.
Because you're not afraid of that.
There you go, I understand now. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing, so a lot of example, when people like to spar, they will feel nervous, shaky, apprehensive, things like that, not too sure what to do. Give them about 3 sparring lessons. The body starts to get used to it, and the mind starts to accept it.
So confidence and courage go hand in hand.
Hand in hand. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. The new range of videos out there on YouTube, all focusing on a lot of Chinese guys, traditional, old school, focusing on the fact that to be authentic, you need to learn Wing Chun from Chinese guys. It raises the question, is there enough diversity in Wing Chun? By diversity, I mean black, white, Indian. It's taught the world over. Is it truly represented enough with diversity?
Well, the idea is that...
difficult question.
Not very difficult, quite easy really.
Yeah.
Who controls the media?
Correct. And
they decide who we're going to put on the front page. It can be black, it can be white, it can be a woman.
So they don't really focus on who's performing, they focus on selling.
Selling. Okay.
Okay. Should you teach someone who's a hothead, aggressive by nature?
Not really. Because you can't trust him how you're going to react. He can explode any minute.
Should you just turn him away from the door?
I will turn him away from the door. Because obviously he will cause problems in the class. 1 minute he's talking to someone really nice, and then he's getting vexed and want to fight the person for no reason at all.
Can you teach a blind person sticky?
You can teach a blind person sticky quite easy.
Can you teach a blind person horse out?
No. You have to learn sticky to have feeling to touch. Also now, if the blind person throws something to a blind person, he won't catch it. If I was blind and I couldn't see you throw something at me, I really can't feel. Unless I have to train very, very long time to feel energy come towards me to catch it.
So the very old kung fu moves of the blind man fighting everyone, we put that to rest now.
I just put that to the entertainment. I said there is some belief in it to a certain extent, but to train that way, usually people who are blind, they're born blind, they're good sensitivity by feeling, by touch. they're born that way. But you become blindly suddenly in your middle of your age, or when you're 30 or 40, it's very hard, very hard.
So all these people out there who are practicing and saying, putting blindfolds over their eyes, be careful, you're going to get hit off your head with a chair.
Well, you must understand the blindfold is as a concept. Why you put, so therefore, if you do, example, as everyone knows, Wing Chun, they do looks are rolling hands. And how they will start, the beginning is very important. You put two people together, let them touch hands, then blindfold them. Then you can start. So you're practicing for your sensitivity, both of them. Now, it would be really sneaky. Take them apart, yeah? Take the person's blindfold off and let the person go and hit that person. You can't do nothing about it now.
They say Wing Chun is very specialist at fighting in a phone box. So therefore, a dark phone box, you don't need eyes, you feel?
No, in a phone box, you still
which is your tiny space.
That's a matter, you still need your eyes.
Okay.
If you've got eyes, use them. If you haven't got eyes, you can't use them.
The eyes are part of your feeling, your sensitivity.
Yes. It's part of we have eyes, so use them. But we also have trained our sensitivity, our feeling. Also, we train that too.
Okay. How does a fight start? Does a fight start when someone uses or calls your mum name or your name? Or does a fight start when someone looks at you badly? Or does a fight start when someone punches you or hits you or something?
Fight can start any situation. If you ask a question and 10 people come to you and tell you how the fight is today, all the stories will be completely different because we ask you how did it start, and not one story will be the same. It could be different. It might be someone walk past you and they're in the rough and they bounce you, or you bounce them by and you say sorry and they want to fight you. It might be a situation where someone look at you too hard and say, who are you looking at? And want to fight you. It might be a situation that you're going to buy something in the store and you jump the queue and people get upset, they want to fight you. That's what I'm saying. What situation, there can be any sort of situation. Anyhow. Most important thing, the situation occurred and a fight commenced. What you're going to do is someone attack you. And you said,
okay, good answers. Next question. We'll use a very violent word. I'd say 78% of the fights, injuries, harm that you see on the road is now guns and knives. Is Wing Chun really effective against a gun and knife? And if it's not, why should we really be teaching these freehand martial arts where the world outside is telling you need a weapon?
Okay, you must look at the situation now. And we live in England. Is it a gun country?
Becoming.
No, I say, is it a gun country?
No. Yeah.
So when you've got a pocket of people having guns, Now if I bring up 10 people, and then only one's got guns, it's only a small percentage.
So America's a gun culture. Does that mean Wing Chun is not suitable for New York?
No.
That's where the guns are prolific.
Guns is a gun country, but you also at the same time, people will also practice self-defense. Okay, in case they ain't got a gun.
So someone's got a choice. I live in a culture or a country where everyone carries knives or guns. Do I go to learn Wing Chun, or do I go to shooting range and learn to shoot to get a gun license?
I will do both. If I can go and shoot and things like that, get a license, I'll be complete. I've got a gun, I can do self-defense.
So I guess that puts to bed the argument that a person who's highly skilled at martial arts can stop bullets or catch a bullet and all the other nonsense you see in movies. Let's be real here.
Well, you must understand, the movie is entertainment for you to enjoy. Some of it is realistic and some of it's not realistic. But the most important thing is for it to entertain. Let's get real. So if the people got guns all around you, I want a gun too. You know, if it's by law, you can have a gun, you carry a gun, you can have a gun. But at the same time, also we learn martial arts.
Okay, so a lot of viewers will probably think, hold on, Wing Chun does teach weapons. Wing Chun teaches you to use a pole. Wing Chun teaches you to use a knife. Does Wing Chun really teach you to fight with a pole and a knife?
Wing Chun will teach you how to fight with the pole and the knife. But the concept is put the pole and the knife in your arms. That's it. Now we can't carry a big knife, a big butterfly knife, which is on the street. You know, because you get done, or you get arrested.
You could carry training knives that are blunt, and you're saying a person who's fully versed and conversant and can perform with knife form.
Yeah,
should be able to take out those blunt knives and use them.
Well, if someone comes to you with a knife and you've got a training knife on you, you will take out your training knife.
It's better than a piece of skin.
Okay, they understand that.
It's common sense.
Yeah, common sense. You know.
When should you run from a fight? When should you just turn around and go?
If you think you can handle the situation, you run.
But it's taught them courage.
Yes, what's hearing it, but I was going to teach you common sense. If you think that you can handle talk your way out of the situation, you talk your way out of the situation. It depends on the situation. So we also teach you common sense at the same time. If you can avoid the fighting, you avoid it to the best of your ability.
So Wing Chun is not teaching you to become aggressive or to become a fighter?
Not at all. We don't teach you to sort of to become aggressive, to be aggressor.
Or defend it at any cost?
We teach you martial art to defend yourself. So when you say defend yourself, that means you defend yourself because someone can interfere with you. It's not an aggressive art form to go and attack somebody. It's a defense style to defend yourself in case someone tries to attack you.
I mean, I've heard you tell stories of how you use Wing Chun defensively by just walking away because you don't want to hurt someone.
Yes, but then some people will say, guess what, I'm not going to walk away, I want to hurt somebody. It depends on the character of the person.
Okay, interesting. So when should you start a fight?
Why are you going to start the fight in the first place?
Don't like the look of you, you said something bad about my mum and my sister, so I'm going to hit you.
Oh, therefore,
I believe you might have stolen from my house.
But therefore,
last week it was offensive to you.
what's heavily? You said the question, where should I start a fight?
Yes.
I can't start nothing and then someone interfere with me. So I want to start a fight. Yes? If I'm by my own business walking, I'm not starting nothing, I'm not interfering with nobody. But you're the one that come interfere with me. Who started it now? The person who come interfere with you is the one that started everything.
So, I interfere with you today.
Yes.
I abuse you, call you names, I walk away. 2 days later I see you. Does that give you license to, because the fight started 2 days ago?
Not really, but it depends how the person feels. Maybe at that moment, he would have clapped you, but he was busy. The other things on his mind. He wasn't concerned, but he would say, next time I see that person, I'm going to deal with him.
So be careful of people's nature.
Now you understand that? Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Just a couple more quick fire questions. These are all from practitioners, by the way, so they don't follow any necessary thread. Push or pull, which is better?
Both is better. Both. I can't say which is better. Both is better.
Anyone who wants to understand that question, please email Sifu Louison why we ask push or pull. It's from a Wing Chun practitioner. It's push and pull techniques.
Yeah, push and pull techniques. I'll explain it. Someone's running away from you. Pull them back. Someone's coming towards you. Unbalance them. Push them. You see?
It's how you use it.
It's how you use it.
Okay.
It's like telling you, what's better? Left hand or the right hand?
They both should be the same.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's kind of a good answer. Next question as well. Defense or attack, which one's better?
Defense and attack, it sort of fits the same sort of concept. If I defend myself, I'm going to attack you by defending myself.
You can't do more on that level.
No. If I defend myself, I defend myself by not hitting you, just defending, blocking. But if I attack, I'm doing counter-attack. That means I defend myself into a counter-attack.
So they all link, they all flow.
They all link together to each other.
You're not just doing one or the other.
No.
So when that puts to bed the age-old argument of videos of one person defending for 10, 20 minutes. Yes, it's nonsense.
It's nonsense because 20 minutes, real life situation, someone will throw something at you, counter you, and you can defend yourself to the best ability. So you learn to attack, counter-attack, and defend at the same time. 3 things you must learn. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for answering the quick fire questions. They're finished there. Last questions is about people's interest in Wing Chun art itself and what the future holds for Wing Chun. So, what is the future for Wing Chun art, your style of Wing Chun? Are you ever concerned that, it will disappear? For instance, if you don't teach it anymore, it's 40 years in the making, it's a graceful, beautiful interpretation of Wing Chun.
Yes.
What's the future for it?
The future can change any time. Something can become lost, and something don't become lost. If something's really good, it stays down for a very long time. High level, low level, but it stills around for a long time. When people practice martial arts, myself try to give people insight of martial arts so they can improve themselves, And if they like it, they carry on doing it, okay? And life might change. You might have family, you might have to stop working, maybe you can't afford it right now. Situation changes. But then someone else will come in and say, I want to learn martial arts. So you understand, the martial arts has been going for years.
So if it survives, it survives?
Yes.
Is that from an Islamic perspective? You were saying that
well, Islamic was really good. Islamic perspective, Islamic means that you submit to one God. So it's been from years, from day one. It's always been there, you know. And evil's always been there, and good's always been there. Yeah, righteousness has been there, and not righteousness has always been there. So that's life. So you try to find a balance in life to be balanced. You know, don't be too extreme. You know, so people, and don't go extreme the other way neither.
Okay. Are you still teaching? What if someone out there watching would like to come and learn Wing Chun?
Well, it's when someone will learn Wing Chun from me. I'm not in this country. I live in the Caribbean, St. Lucia, but I come here now and then. But you have my students over here who also carry on teaching. They're sufficient enough to practice and teach people. They know enough, and that's it really. Most important thing when you learn something, if you can't get to the teacher, go to the students. Yeah, and because they're the ones that also carry on practicing. Now, if your teacher has one student, and his student stops, then he's lost again. Because there's no one else doing it.
So I understand, going back to the very first questions, is how to train, because you've taught your students how to train.
Yes.
Being in St. Lucia, you've left a competent group of guys who can train together.
Yes.
Does that mean you still need to authorise anyone wanting to learn your come to the school?
Well, most important thing, my students will know how I think, and I'll taught them the way how to teach and how to practice, and how to look at character. So if you've got good character, my student will doesn't mind if you come in to watch, take a look, participate, see you like it or not. But it's really by character. You know, you've got good character and you're humble and you come to learn, it's no problem for them to sort of teach you.
Okay.
You know, it's very, very important.
Excellent answers. Just want to thank Sifu Louison again for answering in such an open, generous way. Just to remind anyone, if they do have any questions, there will be the contact numbers and email. Please feel free to contact Sifu Louison afterwards. I hope everyone managed to get something insightful and useful from these questions. Again, they're not a definitive answer as to what Wing Chun is. They're merely Sifu Louison's professional opinion based on 40 years of experience. So without further ado, I'd like to thank Sifu Louison for the interview, and I'll leave the closing comments to floor to Sifu.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Very important when you learn anything martial arts is to enjoy it. But you can only enjoy something really if you understand it. Okay? So when I teach my guys to understand what they're doing, and therefore they will carry on practicing. If you don't understand something, you will stop. You know, many people have started martial arts in the past. They start, stop. Many, from different situations, because maybe work, money, study, family, children. You know, myself, I practiced Wing Chun at a very young age. Okay, and I'm still practicing Wing Chun right now today. Why? Because I enjoy it, and I also understand it. So it's very important. When you understand something, you enjoy it. Yes? When you don't understand something, you won't enjoy it so much. You start to enjoy something, and after you don't understand it, you stop because I don't understand it. So it's very important for everybody, when you learn anything in life, is to understand what you're doing. Okay, regardless of what it is, religion, work, family, understand all these things, and you can live with it quite easy, and you can improve yourself quite easy. This is very, very important.
Can I ask you one personal question before you say farewell?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Who out there for you is, without not including yourself,
Yes.
is the best current living practitioner of authentic Wing Chun in the world for you?
For me, through my experience, and I lived in Hong Kong, there's only one person I know is my teacher, older coming brother. One of my teachers is Sifu Louison. Okay, and I followed him for a very long time, for 10 years. But the way I do Wing Chun is the way I do Wing Chun. So back in the 80s, the Wing Chun has changed so much, because different levels, and information can be changed, understanding. So like I said, once you learn something for 5 years, another years, you might learn more things in another 5 years, that's 10 years. Okay, but for me, one person who I know, who I've seen and experienced with him and touched hands with him and been to his school in Hong Kong is Sifu Louison. Yeah, he's the only person I know who is quite authentic in his Wing Chun and understands his Wing Chun very well. Okay? you can talk it, you can perform it. Yes? And you've also got students also who can also do the same thing, talk it and perform it. Okay? It's for, but we also tell people, go and do your own research and go and see what you're looking for. It might be a technical way of fighting, and you might want a quick way of fighting, like more aggression, more straight to the point, and things like that. It depends what individual person is looking for, you know. So there are many teachers out there who practice Wing Chun or teach Wing Chun. But for me, the number one I think, my experience, is Sifu Louison, who lives in Hong Kong. And that's it. And he's my older country brother. My uncle we call Sibak, which means uncle. Because he said my teachers, Sifu Bernardo,
teacher.
Older country brother, he's seen him.
But he also taught you.
But he also taught me when I was living in Hong Kong in 1986, 87. I was known for 1 year. Okay? And then I came back to London, still with my teacher, Sifu Bernardo, and after I branched off doing my own thing. So the last 30 years I've been doing my own thing. Last I was in Hong Kong probably about 7 years ago, you know. But the way I do Wing Chun, I tell everybody it's the way I do Wing Chun. So if you go and see any of these teachers, yeah, you might like it, you might not like it, but that's the way they do Wing Chun. So I'm just giving you an insight of people doing Wing Chun. There's many teachers out there do Wing Chun completely different. You have to decide what you're looking for. I'm not going to say who's the best, but for explaining Wing Chun and performing Wing Chun, it's like I said, it's Sifu Louison.
Sifu Louison, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I hope that anybody can benefit from this interview. And I hope I haven't offended nobody at all. The idea of this interview is just to give people insight to improve themselves, how to practice, and look at martial art as an art form. Not just going in to fight somebody or whatever. It's to learn from your teacher and learn from your classmates who know more than you. So very important to correspond with each other and practice in harmony, not just fight each other. Okay? It's very important. So I hope everyone can benefit from the interview and can listen to the benefit in the future or the present time. And that's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.